Carl's Cafe. Written by Diane Bates. Illustrated by Terry Denton. Chapter 1. The Playhouse. From a very young age, my twin brother Carl loved to cook. When he was 6 years old, he made his first meal. It was breakfast in bed for Mom and Dad. He made them soggy cornflakes and burnt toast. But it certainly impressed our parents, and that made Carl even keener to be a cook. When we were 9 years old, Dad built us a playhouse in the backyard. The playhouse was like a proper house, only smaller. It had a blue front door, a doorbell that chimed in windows with flower boxes and wooden shutters. Inside we had cupboards, shelves, a table, and some chairs. For the first week after it was finished, Carl and I and all our friends played mothers and fathers. Then we pretended the playhouse was a hospital and played doctors and nurses. I loved this game. But the others got bored with getting pretend needles and being bandaged. "We've played hospital long enough, Lizzie," Carl said to me. "Let's turn our playhouse into a restaurant and I can be the chef and make lunch," suggested Carl. "Great," yelled Rodney Fogelberg and Jeffrey Dangerfield, who were playing with us. Kellyanne Kilger didn't say anything. She still had the thermometer in her mouth. I sulked. "I'm not playing restaurants. I'm going to look in Dad's medical dictionary instead," I said. I liked the dictionary. It had pictures of blue veins, pink and red guts, babies before they were born, and men and women's bodies. "Lizzie, you can be the restaurant's first aid lady," Carl said. "But what does the first aid lady do?" I asked Carl. "She looks after people who get sick," said Carl. Kellyanne pulled the thermometer out of her mouth. "I don't want to play restaurants," she said. "I'm still in hospital. Or people might fall out of their chairs and get fish bones stuck in their throats," Carl continued. Throat operations and broken bones sounded like fun. I might play. "But what's for lunch?" I demanded. "Whatever you want," Carl promised. Jeffrey wanted hot dogs. "Pizza, pie with sauce and French fries," yelled greedy Rodney Fogelberg. "Popcorn, please," said Kellyanne. I said I wanted spaghetti bolognese. "I can't make all those things," Carl groaned. "I told you spaghetti, or I won't play," I insisted. The others said that spaghetti was okay with them. "But I'll have to ask Janie about it first," Carl said. Chapter 2. The Chef. Janie, our babysitter, was reading in the backyard where she could keep an eye on what we were doing. "Janie," Carl yelled. "It's time for lunch. We're hungry." Janie was not pleased with the idea of our friends staying for lunch. "Your mother doesn't pay me to make lunch for all the kids in the neighborhood," she said. "No, Janie, Ely make it," Carl said. Janie didn't mind at all then. "But the rest of you must ask your moms first," she said. "And you've got to clean up after yourselves." "We will," Janie promised Carl. "Right, Lizzie?" I nodded at Carl, but felt a sinking feeling in my stomach. Carl was not the tittiest cook in the kitchen. While the others went home to ask their mothers, Carl started cooking in the kitchen. Janie put away the breakfast dishes and I repacked my doctor's kit in case of an emergency operation during lunch. Then I drew a big sign to put inside the playhouse, Carl's Cafe. It was a beautiful sign written in pink and red felt-tip pen with scrolls, squiggly lines and stars all over it. When Rodney, Kellyanne and Jeffrey came back, I tried to get them to help me color in the letters. But Kellyanne colored her toenails with the felt-tip pen instead. The boys drew designs and wrote things on the walls. Then they dotted each other's faces and said they had measles. After that we were bored. We went to the kitchen to complain to Carl and Janie, but Carl shooed us all outdoors. It won't take much longer, he said. Hey Carl, something's burning. Jeffrey joked. Oh no! Carl rushed to the stove. Jeffrey went whooping down the backyard. Our little black and white dog, Tigger, tore after him, leaping into the air and yapping with delight. Tigger loved playing tag. Jeffrey grabbed a towel from the ground and swirled it around. Head down, Tigger charged at it. Rodney and I pulled a couple of pillow slips off the clothesline. We waved them around, pretending Tigger was a raging bull. Hey, watch out! We almost knocked Carl over as he came out of the house. He was carefully carrying out a tray laden with bowls of food. Chapter 3. The Secret Recipe. We threw down our bullfighter's gear and charged into the playhouse.